have been multiple
I'm a
reactions,
partner
not
product
specifically
manager
to
at
what
YouTube.
Ambassador Haley
For
said
many
there
of
last
our
night,
creators,
but certainly
turning
in
their
general,
passion into
everything
profit is an
after last
important
Friday when, of
aspect
course,
of the
President
YouTube
Trump gave
platform.
his speech about what
For
he
me,
called his new
my
Iran
passion
strategy,
is musical
there has been a lot of
and I've been a
reaction. Now, the
drummer
most forceful certainly came
as long as I
yesterday
can remember.
with the supreme
So,
leader of this
I've been
country,
told many
Ayatollah Ali
times to keep my
Khamenei,
day
coming
job.
out, giving a speech
However,
blasting
I might
President
decide
Trump,
that I
saying
want
that
to
he,
turn my passion for
pretends to
drumming
be an idiot,
into a
but at the same
profitable
time, the
enterprise.
Iranians, he said,
One way I
cannot
could do
let
this
their guard
is I
down.
could
He
create
also called him
videos that would appeal to others
foul-mouthed
that
and
share
said that
my
he was
passion.
attacking
I
Iran.
could upload
One of the
those
things that the
videos to
supreme
YouTube,
leader said is that
and
he
then just
believes
wait
that the
for the
U.S.
dollars to
is
roll in.
angry because
Well,
the Iranians
as you may
feel
know,
that
this
they've been
doesn't
making a lot of
magically
headway.
happen.
Here in the
We'll work
Middle East, he was
together
talking
to
specifically
demystify
about the
monetization in
situations
YouTube
in Lebanon,
and help
Syria,
you
and
drum up
Iraq,
some
where, of course,
cash.
the Iranians
Okay,
wield
so
a
let's
great
start
deal
with some basics.
of influence. And
There are
the
four key
Iranians
players
feel, or
when
the
it comes to
Ayatollah
YouTube
believes,
monetization.
that's one of the reasons why
There are
the
the
Americans
viewers,
are so critical of
the
them. Now, of course,
creators,
the other big thing
advertisers,
that's being talked
and of
about here, and
course,
that President
the YouTube
Trump spoke
platform
about as well, is the nuclear agreement.
As
And that
YouTube
certainly
evolves,
is on
we
almost
strive to
everyone's
keep the
minds. The
interests of each
Ayatollah
of
Ali
these
Khamenei,
key
he also
players in
spoke
mind.
about the nuclear agreement
So from a
as
viewer
well. He
perspective,
said that the Iranians would
we
not
want
ditch
YouTube
the
to
nuclear
be the
agreement
best
unless
place
it was
on the
reached by
internet
the
for
Americans.
viewers
And he
to
called on the
find and
Europeans
enjoy
to
entertaining
do their
content.
part to try and save the
Hopefully,
nuclear
like my
agreement,
drumming
while
videos.
also being quite critical of the Europeans as well, saying, look, the Europeans really shouldn't criticize Iran's missile program, considering some of the European countries have nuclear weapons
want
themselves.
YouTube to
But at the
be
same
the
time, you
optimal
can
platform
feel that the Iranians
where you
are,
can
to a
produce
certain
that
degree,
content and make
counting on the
sustainable revenue
Europeans
from it.
to try and do their
And from
part
an
to save this
advertiser
agreement. Certainly, if you look at some of the
we
words
want
that have been
a
coming
safe
out of the
environment
EU, some of the
where they
European
can reach
countries
their target
specifically, like
audiences
Germany,
with
like France,
measurable
Britain to a certain
precision.
extent as well, they are still
So in
behind
my
the nuclear
example,
agreement. The Iranians are
viewers
saying
around
yes,
the
they
world
are as
who are
well.
interested in
However, they do
drumming
feel
can come
that the
to
U.S.
YouTube
is
for
currently
entertainment
jeopardizing that
or
agreement, and
education,
with that, to a certain
or to
extent,
find
also
others that share your
isolating
interests.
itself from the other
As a
signatories of
partner,
that agreement.
I'm one of
Rosemary.
many creators
And Fred, as
producing
this all
content
plays
that
out
viewers
with the
come to
leadership
watch.
there in
And the
Iran,
advertisers
what about the
who want
average
to reach
person
an
on the
audience
street?
help
What is
fund
their
this
view
experience
of
in
President
return
Trump
for
and
exposure
indeed
to your ads.
the United States? And
YouTube
how much of this
is the
are they
platform
following?
that makes this possible for drumming aficionados and everyone else.
Well, you know, one of the things that you will hear from most Iranians, I would say, I mean, it is still a fairly divided society, but I would say that the majority of folks here, they actually appreciate the United States. They appreciate the culture of the United States. They don't necessarily agree with the United States leadership. And I think one of the things that they're seeing with President Trump is that they believe a lot of the rhetoric that's currently coming out of the White House is quite unfair to the Iranians, especially pertaining to the nuclear agreement. They feel that President Trump is out to get the Iranians. There are some Iranian politicians who have come out and said, look, they believe
this
that
will
U.S.
depend on
foreign
things
policy
like
is,
the
quote, for
trends and
sale, that
behavior
he's
you
siding
see
with
among
Gulf
your
countries
fans
rather than
and what
trying
ad
to keep an
formats
open
you've opted
mind
into.
towards Iran.
Let's say you want to earn at least $50 a month on your channel, or that you want to increase your earnings by 10%
earlier
over
this
the
year or
next
late
month.
last year,
Once you
when there
set
were
some
some of those
targets for
missile
what you want
launches
to
with
earn,
Hebrew
you can
writing
use
on some of
YouTube
these
analytics to
medium-range
track and
missiles,
measure
that's
whether
certainly
you're
something
hitting
that's
the mark.
also seen
In
critical
order
by
to see
some
how
Iranians.
much
But
the ads
by
on your
and large,
videos are earning,
one of the things that
you'll
you see
first need
again
to
and
link
again
your
here is that there
YouTube
are
account
big
with
internal
an
divisions
AdSense account.
in this
This
country
will allow you to see
politically,
your
especially
earnings
between
and
moderates
get paid.
and hardliners.
And if you're
But
buying
when they are
campaigns through
attacked from the
AdWords to promote
outside,
your own channel,
verbally,
you can get
and
even
in
more
other ways as
detailed
well, the
reports
Iranians
that
do
help you
tend
see
to
how
come together
effective
and
those
form a
ads are
united
by
front. And that
linking an
certainly seems
AdWords
to be the
account
case,
also.
where a lot of
Got
even
it?
hardline Iranian
Link your
politicians
YouTube
are saying,
account to
look,
your
we believe
AdSense one.
that President Trump,
Then
with some of the
tack
things he's
on
been saying, has
AdWords
actually been
if
doing
it's
us a
appropriate
favor
for
because
you.
he's united
Once
Iranian
you've done
politics
this,
rather than
take a
divided
look at
it,
your ad
Rosemary.
performance
All right,
report
many thanks
in
to
YouTube
Fred
analytics.
Plykin, bringing
The
us
first
that
thing
live
to know
report
about
from
examining
Tehran
your ad performance
in
report
Iran,
is what we
nearly
mean by an
10:50 in the
impression.
morning.
An impression is counted
We turn
each
to
time an
Iraq
ad
now. The
loads
Prime Minister
while the
has
viewer is